It's Faith Friday, and our next guest is an author who believes in celebrating faith through everyone's favorite food.
Yeah, her latest book is called Celebrating Around the Table, Learning the Stories of Black Christians through readings, fellowship, food, and faith. It's filled with recipes and beautiful stories of tradition. So, here to give us some words of wisdom and to celebrate Black History Month and to feed us this afternoon.
All of those things.
Is Trillia Newbell. Thank you so much for being here with us and for bringing what looks to be a delicious spread. We're going to start with your belief that food is a way to connect with your heritage. Why is that? And also, what's on the table?
Yes, okay, so what's on the table, you've got some black-eyed peas, greens, and cornbread. And one of the reasons why it helps us with our roots is, as you know, slavery, they erased so much of our records, but food lives on, and it's lived on from generation to generation. So I grew up with eating these every New Year's Eve. Is just a fun tradition. So many households, especially in the South, have this tradition, I believe, especially also in the African American community. And so I've now been able to pass it on to my kids, but it started somewhere else. And so it is such a sweet way to remember our ancestors, especially those who don't have records.
Yeah, and so many people don't know where the history of food sort of originates from. Thank you.
The origin story.
Yes, February is Black History Month.
Yes.
Why do you think it's so important that we celebrate our roots?
Oh, well, I think part of it is just remembering, because we're so easy to forget, and we forget where people come from. I think also it helps us to love our neighbor as ourselves, because when you know where they've come from, then you can love them, listen to them, have empathy, be slow to speak when you really understand history. And as an African American female, I just love that I get to celebrate that God created me, Genesis 1, in his image, so that I can reflect him and bring him glory. And he's created all of us equally. And so every time I walk out the door, I am a Black woman, and I can celebrate that because God created me that way, as he's created you too as well.
Before we say goodbye and dig into this amazing food, we want to ask you the question we always ask our guests on Faith Friday. What words of wisdom might you have for us?
Yeah, well, okay, so everything I'm celebrating is rooted in the gospel. And so my words of wisdom is to dig into the scriptures, to know the gospel, know that if you placed your faith in Jesus, you will be saved. And in Ephesians 2, Jesus tore the veil of hostility, so we can be united because of him. And so these conversations don't have to be hard. We need to dig in, we need to have them, and we can because of the gospel.
Yeah, there's something about food that softens people too as well.
I do. You gather around the table and you have good conversations.
Yeah, everyone's hungry, everyone needs to eat.
Everyone needs to eat, and it's a great way to also talk about history, culture, and truth, the truth of the scripture. So.
Trillia, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And you can pick up a copy of Celebrating Around the Table everywhere books are sold. You can scan that QR code right there at the bottom of your screen to purchase a copy.